Hey, welcome, sport fans. We're doing another episode here of Half Baked Sports. I got John on my right, Kendall on my left, and as always, your host. I'm Josh. And today we're going to bring you some overall view. We're looking forward to the preseason coming up. We're going to give our little, based on what we saw in the acquisitions and the trades and, of course, the draft. We're going to give just a quick recap of a few of the divisions, probably not all. Basically, we'll start with one that's dear to our friend Chuck.
Hey,
the AFC East.
what you doing, man?
And you know what, Chuck, we miss you.
Mr. Chuck.
No, I don't miss you, Chuck.
You
Mr.
should be
Chuck.
here.
Mr. Chuck.
So get off your ass.
You're all right, man.
next-
You're doing all right.
Chuck's been has been doing some stuff this last month, and rightfully so, because it's been kind of a dead even with some of the trades and moves in the NFL. But we definitely could have used his help with the draft analysis. But he will be back with us next week. Hopefully, we have some good topics to cover. So the AFC East, we were just discussing. New England's been making some crazy moves.
Yes.
I think Belichick is definitely sick and tired of hearing the comparisons.
Belichick's been gritting his teeth.
He went on the record, and I think he's right. What they did is he, as a GM, was able to not only get the talent needed to get Brady several deep runs in the playoffs
And Super Bowls.
and Super Bowls, they were tapped out, and unfortunately they didn't have a lot of draft stock, if you will. They didn't have a lot of young talent to mentor and build up. So, basically they had to buy teams to put just enough talent around him to get there. Basically selling out, as people put it out.
Yeah. But it worked.
It worked. But they were at that quintessential wall to where they didn't have any money. They didn't have any cap space, which is why when Brady left, guess what it did? That freed up a lot of cap space. And what has he done? He let it ride last year because what did he want to do? He wanted to acquire more draft stock, more, and then, of course, let a few aged contracts lapse and all that kind of stuff. And now what is he doing? He's buy. I do expect him, and I think we're all in agreement to see him come out the gates. He's going to come swinging, just like a heavyweight that he is.
Yes.
And we're going to see what he's bringing to the table. I love the pickup with Mac Jones. Is he going to start this year or not? Hard to say. Even sitting for only a year behind a quarterback like Cam Newton. Definitely a Super Bowl quarterback.
Has played in the Super Bowl.
Although, did not go his way. Played against the great of... Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. But, hey, look, if you take a look at the rest of the talent and the way he's gotten people to play for him in the past, Mac Jones doesn't have to play this year. But if he's attentive and alert and, pays attention.
Dedicated. He got the thing about these young guys.
Cam's only got one more year on his contract.
Yeah, you gotta come in hungry. You gotta want to play. You can't come half-assed.
And Belichick is building another solid team.
Yes,
he's going to get some young, solid talent like he always does, and I expect him to make a good run this next year. Now, we're discussing. Do we think he's going to take the division?
No,
I don't think so either. He doesn't think so. Yes, no.
If I can chime in 5 seconds.
Sure, go ahead.
I'd like to say that, New England Patriots, they look at themselves as a statue team. And since Brady's left, gentlemen, you can definitely agree if I can just say that. Since Brady's left, Belichick has been definitely gritting his teeth like, oh, shoot. But he doesn't show it because he just keeps the same composure as he does every game. Hey, come on, guys.
Well, I think he's gritting his teeth because of the talk.
Yeah.
I mean, and really, all it is talk, and they're trying to make the comparison Brady or Belichick, and I think that Chuck and I put it perfectly. It was the combination, and I know people want to do some stupid stuff like label him as a system QB. I'm sorry, if he was a system QB, he would not have gotten the last year's
he damn sure wouldn't have won the Super Bowl if he was a system QB.
Yeah,
the biggest thing is because you got a lot of fans out there that still, when you think of Tom Brady, New England. Oh, well, guess what? He's not with New England
now it's
anymore.
Tampa Bay.
He's now with Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a winning Super Bowl.
And let's
That
not,
has never happened.
And yeah, first time
First
new team.
time
But then
go.
take a look. They've
on.
always had
And-
solid elements. They
Yeah.
had Todd Bowles as that defensive coordinator, and I even
Right.
said a few years ago when they picked him up, that was one of the best things they did. They
then
went out
Bruce
and got
Arians.
Bruce Arians
Yeah.
as a head coach, and I thought for sure that he was going to turn Jameis Winston around.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to. Now, I do like the aspect that our friend Larry brought up about the eye surgery.
Yeah.
And I was hoping to see some more from Jameis this year than we did, but we didn't. Why?
He didn't get a
'Cause
chance to play.
He didn't get that many chances to play because
Yeah.
of Drew Brees. Now,
And Taysom Hill.
next
He ain't
year,
gonna take
we're hoping to see something
their
because
spot.
if anybody else that I like as a head coach and a QB that works with their QBs on a regular basis is Sean Payton
Yes.
over in New Orleans.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that matchup to see if they can't bring and keep that same competitive level over in New Orleans. Because let's face it, Atlanta Falcons close on the heels. I
Fuck
love
Matt,
Fucking
Matt
last.
Ryan, you better watch your job, Matt
but
Ryan.
right now,
Come on now.
New Orleans has got to keep that level because Tampa Bay is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, the thing what we were discussing before we started this was the AFC East. You got Buffalo, you got New England, you got Miami, you have the Jets.
Yep.
The Jets just picked up a quarterback. He is not going to come out there. I'm not going to say he can't. I just don't think it's going to happen where he's going to come out and just blow.
And we
the
already
doors
kind
off.
of covered it earlier, maybe not on camera, but the Jets are missing some key
Yeah, you
components.
still- you
that's
still
why
got a lot of
that's
stuff-
why
lot of
Sam
work to
Darnold didn't do very well over there, and he showed some good signs
Yeah.
of playability, but it was the consistency, the lack of
Yeah.
consistency of the whole team, not just Sam Darnold.
Yeah, so when I look at the AFC East, because this is what we were saying, like the Patriots is a spoiler, Miami is a spoiler, and they're not spoilers for the AFC East, they're spoilers for the whole thing. Buffalo's pretty much going to take the division. New England, Miami, they're going to fight for a spot if and the rest of the division is the same way, but mostly because of the Patriots situation with Cam Newton now playing with a chip on his shoulder, his contract is incentive laden. He's gonna come out and he's gonna be ready. And Miami Tua, he did some remarkable
look,
things.
If you take a
You
look
know
at
what?
last year's record, Miami was just a few games behind Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to be able to be competitive again, even though Fitzpatrick isn't there. But New England's definitely going to be up
Yeah.
there competing with Miami.
So that's
gonna
the
be
1
a-
and 2.
that's gonna be
the
a
one.
close race.
I mean the 2 and 3. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's the 2 and 3.
Yep.
But when you go back down and you go further down, you go Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Browns, and the Bengals. We said like the Browns are inconsistent sometimes. Baltimore also is inconsistent sometimes. Pittsburgh showed lackluster offense last year, and the Bengals,
They
you
dropped
still
off,
dealing with a rookie
and we
quarterback.
pointed that out last year when they were going on that winning streak. We looked at at who they had on their lineup.
Yes, and
they didn't really play any
lot of-
tough competition until late in the season. And what
and the
happened?
playoffs.
We predicted that first loss.
Yep.
What was it? Washington.
Washington, yes.
Washington showed up this
And
past
they
year.
It wasn't just that
they
Washington showed up.
only
It's just that
won-
they cracked under pressure.
They only
Yeah.
they went 11-0 and then only won one more game
Yeah.
in their last 5.
Yeah, and that was Pittsburgh and Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and the Browns. They all had these problems toward the end of the season, whether they were tired or they were just beat up or they just couldn't figure it out. And they had chance. They had room to overtake the Chiefs for that number 1 spot. All 3 of those teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they all
Couldn't do
fell
it.
apart. They all fell apart. So when I look at that division, it's a toss up for all 3 except the Bengals. And that's only because
I'm
Burrow's
not
got,
gonna give that much to
Joe,
the
what's his
Bengals.
name? Joe Burrows, right?
They only
He got hurt.
won 4 games.
No, I'm saying, but he got
I'm not
hurt
gonna
also.
give that much to the Bengals,
no,
man.
No,
But they
I'm
still
not-
have a
no,
lot,
the Bengals
yeah.
at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're
Yeah.
at the top. I'm just saying those 3 teams, the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cleveland Browns. It's one of those teams is going to come out on top. The other 2 are going to be fighting for second, and they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot.
Cleveland Browns will definitely be in the
3
playoffs this season.
Can 3 of those teams come out and be in the playoffs? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's 7 teams now, so it possibly can happen.
yeah.
It possibly can
Especially
happen.
with that extra game. That extra
Possibility.
game might matter.
And then when you drop down to the Titans, the Colts, the Texans, and the Jaguars, I mean, really, come on. There ain't nobody coming out of there except the Titans.
Let's keep in
Well,
mind
no,
Buffalo's
let's
still
not
there.
forget. I mean, and I've already said this to you guys. I don't remember if it was on camera or not, but I do believe that Carson Wentz, to me, is a more mobile version of Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, and-
Phillip
and-
Rivers had him
Right.
playing well and made it to the playoffs. I think that Carson Wentz coming in with the right additions for offensive weapons, the offensive line is there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing they Colts
They
always
already
had.
had. So I think that the Colts, you can't. I mean, it depends on how much of a the time they need to get their
Yeah, how quick he
What do you
picks
call
up
that?
how quick he
Gentlemen.
picks up the playbook, how quickly the team
meshes.
Becomes
skill
one.
players get together.
They work out the
And work it
kinks.
out.
Yeah, because they do. They have. Well,
They gotta
working
work out the
kinks,
kinks.
But
yeah.
you know, and I know there's probably a better way of phrasing that.
Yeah.
but I
Working out the kinks is probably the best
So
thing.
we phrase it the
Ladies
way
and
we
gentlemen,
phrase it.
this is why they have preseason. This past
Yes,
season
and we
that
are
happened,
looking
there was
forward.
no preseason.
I don't think
So-
we did it last year because we didn't have a preseason. But
Well, there was too much
remember the
pandemic.
first year we did this? We all sat down and gave who we thought.
Yeah,
I
who
think
we thought
need
was
to-
Yeah.
gonna be where
I
we
think we
need
need to do that again.
Let's try it next week when we got the whole
Well, no,
panel
I want to
together.
do it after the preseason, or maybe the last week.
They're
of
not.
preseason.
Are they
Oh,
going to?
They're gonna do
after 2 games,
games,
and then we
yeah,
sit
that's
down
right.
and say, "Hey,
Right
this is-
before week 1.
It's not really a discussion of what we got to get together and say it. You can actually have it in your own head and say, "Hey, I think that it can be a live."
Yeah,
conversation.
basically we give the
based
division.
off the preseason, who's hurt,
And
who's
last
not,
year,
and who's on the team.
we all give who we think is going to take the division and who might take the wild cards.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead of preseason and say the Titans gonna take the AFC South.
Oh wow!
It's-
Hey man, as long as they
But
got.
anyway, the last one on the AFC, we talk about the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, and Browns. I mean, Broncos.
Yeah. Denver, I like the fact that they're trying to make some acquisitions.
They're trying to
They're
restructure.
still going to end at the bottom unless they find a way to overtake Oakland. I think that
Yeah,
Justin Hubert's going to pick up and build off of last year.
Yeah.
They've got him a few more weapons.
Had an awesome year last year. He had an awesome
I
year
think
last
that the
year.
Chargers are actually going to step up and do a little bit more this year.
So you were thinking the Chargers gonna overtake the Raiders and be the second team coming out of
Well, Raiders only went 8-8 last year.
Yeah,
The
so
Chargers
that-
were 7-9. I think that the Chargers could easily
So the Raiders,
overtake
the
them
Raiders
and maybe
can
even
be
come out with 10 wins.
So when you
So-
look at that division, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Chiefs versus the Baltimore, Pittsburgh Browns. So
Gentlemen.
that's a 6-way fight right there.
Gentlemen,
No.
we got an extra
'Cause
week
all of the Raiders-
this season coming up, starting.
Well, we already know about that.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not talking about that part. What I'm saying is, like, you look at a 3-team battle in each division, with the
takes-
exception
but
of
it's
AFC,
not
with
one
the exception of
game.
AFC
Chiefs
South.
have a solid stranglehold on the West.
Yeah.
They do. Even with some of the talent that they've lost, they're still by far the better team. So they may not take 14 games this year, but I think they're a solid
still
10.
one of- they're one
they're
of
still
two.
a solid 10 to 12.
Yeah,
game
they're going to be
season.
1 or 2. They're going to be
Do
1
you
or 2.
believe they can be a Super Bowl contender this
Well,
season?
they built
Yes.
that thing.
I think Kansas
Those people took pay cuts to stay together because they can get to the Super Bowl together.
Yeah.
They did that.
But they did not score
It doesn't
in
matter.
that Super
You're
Bowl.
talking about the Super
Well,
Bowl. We're
they
not
can
talking
Field goals.
They can
We're
out-
not talking about the
they
Super
can
Bowl. We're
outscore
talking
if
about
they get
getting
the
to the
talent.
Super
Yeah.
Bowl. We're talking about getting to the Super Bowl. They're together for a reason because they know they can get to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what they're
Absolutely.
there. That's what they're together for. You look at all these other teams. They done broke up. They done broke up so many talented duos and
Yeah.
trios. They stayed together.
Yeah,
All of them stayed
absolutely.
together. They took pay cuts to stay together because they want a dynasty.
Well, and of course, they even with that, they lost a few defensive players
Yeah.
and offensive players.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
don't get me wrong. We're going to see a battle. It's not going to be and Tampa
It's not
Bay,
they don't get to run away with it like they did last
Tampa
year.
Bay already gave the blueprint.
Man.
How to
A few
beat
of
them,
it,
yeah.
of how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, y'all
So
didn't
it's gonna
think that
it's
was
gonna come
kind of
down-
staged or anything?
No.
Or- I mean, come on, Tom Brady. He leaves
No.
New England.
No, we're not
And-
gonna do
Tom
that.
Brady
We're not
goes
as
to the
much
Buccaneers.
and as much as I've heard that, I mean,
I
we're
mean,
not
that
gonna
was
do
the Buccaneers have already had a good, solid team, and we've already discussed the fact that if Jameis Winston didn't turn over the ball, how many games would he
Tom
have
Brady
won?
would not be there.
Yeah.
If Jameis Winston didn't go 30 for 30, Tom Brady would not be there. If Jameis Winston went for 30 for 7, Jameis Winston is the quarterback that's in the Super Bowl.
Well, the
That
year
was a-
before he would have been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was-
so
that was
with
Warren-
that being said, hold
that-
on. What Josh just said it. So we go to Tampa Bay, Saints, Cardinals, and Atlanta.
Cardinals. They look
I mean, not
like
Cardinals.
they.
Yeah, is it? No, it's Tampa Bay. Oh, Carolina. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Carolina.
Okay, Tampa Bay is obviously the favorite to win that division.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
think New Orleans and Atlanta are a solid 1 or 2, depending on who wins.
Well, like
Carolina's
I said,
still rebuilding.
With
Right.
Brady's retiring, I can't really
Yeah,
put the Saints
that's
up there.
fair.
I can. Because I think that with the talent, with the rest of the talent is around them, I like Sean Payton. He's a tricky guy. He likes to design things that
Yeah.
fit his players. He's an outside of the box thinker when it comes to this stuff. Now, will
a good way to
some of
put
it
it.
be like straightforward run, pass? Yeah, but the little trick plays that
Yeah.
he does, they're successful
But
for a reason.
you know how
Why?
Matt Ryan is.
Because he doesn't do them regularly. It's not like back when Schaub
Oh.
was doing that.
Oh,
freaking-
wow.
That bootleg
the
over
bootleg.
and over and
I mean,
over
how
and
many,
over.
How many times do you have to do the naked bootleg before you have your defensive end crash down on him and sack him 10
Well,
yards
for some
backfield?
reason, when Schaub was
can't
doing
go
it,
wrong
nobody.
with it,
When
dude.
Schaub was doing it, nobody was doing
Well,
it. Nobody would crash down.
and then
on him.
all he would do, because everybody was a threat because of Johnson.
Oh, Andre, yeah, I forgot.
Well,
Like, as soon as the guy got close,
Owen
but,
James and
Andre.
Andre Johnson, yeah.
but once
And Aaron
Should have been in a
Foster, I
Super Bowl,
forgot.
sir.
So anyway,
No doubt.
When I go to that route, I'm gonna say, okay, the Saints and probably gonna be one. Now here's
I know I give Tampa Bay one.
Are you
I
giving
think
a hypothetical
Saints,
question?
Saints and Atlanta are fighting for that.
here's a sneaker.
Are you giving a
how
hypothetical
Matt,
question?
No, this is not a hypothetical question. Here's a sneaker. Matt Ryan always has a good year and then a bad year.
Yeah,
He had a bad year.
and he's been to Super
He's
Bowl.
about to have a good year.
He had a bad
He's
year that
about
year.
to have a good year. So he's probably Atlanta might actually jump to 2 and
No.
maybe
Well, I
more.
mean, they finished below the Panthers, but yeah, I do think with the talent that they have on that team, they got to do better.
And like I said, Matt Ryan always it seems like he take a year off and then he comes back and just blows the world up.
Well, I mean, shit, he ain't got to go nowhere.
No, I'm not saying he's going anywhere. I'm just saying that's
Well,
what the
all right,
He
so
solidified
I
the
think
team
that
when
pretty
he
much
came
sums
in.
it up. Unless you guys want to cover, did we already
we,
talk
we
about
can we can go up to Frisco, Seattle, Arizona, and the Rams. That's the
We
one.
already talked about the Rams.
No, we're not talking about the Rams. I'm talking about
We
the
already talked
division.
about it.
I'm talking about the division.
West? So the NFC
Yeah,
West.
NFC West.
yeah.
So the Rams.
I'm
I
thinking
think-
Arizona on top.
I'd say
don't think
this
so.
season
I don't think so. If you take a look at that
they're
division,
hungry. They're
right?
hungry.
Cardinals went 8-8 last year. Yes, they're hungry. Yes, they got J.J. Watt.
And
yes,
they
built
beefed
up
up.
their
They
big.
beefed up everything.
But take a look. It's always been a fight between the Rams and Seattle. Rams now have who? Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
They've also got him some weapons. I think the Rams are going to be in that fight with Seahawks. The Seahawks may take a step down. Rams, if they win 10 this year, could take the second spot, and which would put whoever does not beat each other between the Seahawks and the Rams would fall to that third spot. And maybe if your team can get some stuff going on, San
My
Francisco.
team is
They
gonna
can stay
make it happen,
healthy.
bro.
But that was
Yeah,
the problem.
stay
They
healthy.
couldn't stay
Yeah.
healthy last year.
Garoppolo, you better fix that.
Well, Garoppolo is your biggest problem over there. I'm sorry.
Hey, man.
But this is all
Who knows what's
tentative.
going to happen?
It is tentative. It is
And
tentative.
of course, we're going to wait and
Tenur.
see
Tenur is
not
how they say
only
it.
what other transactions may happen
Is
here
that
over
the
the next
Sean
few years.
Watson thing? Transactions?
no, we're not talking about
No,
that.
we're not talking about illegal
You
transactions.
said there's no paper trail.
The
right?
only one I'm gonna
So-
touch on real quick before we dip out: Dallas Eagles, Giants, Washington. It was
Oh.
a coin flip last year. I think it's gonna be the same thing.
Dallas.
I like what I see out of the Philly, but it is going to
Eagles,
be
yes.
right now. Dallas is a favorite unless Washington can finally find themselves a quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers, talk
Yeah.
Aaron
Deshaun
Rodgers.
Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Clear your
Aaron
shit up.
Rodgers.
Talk
One
to
and
him.
two. You know, that would be very
Well, you know,
hypothetical
he-
if that happened, shouldn't
He'd be in the right company over
to.
there in
Be in the
Washington,
right-
D.C.
yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Right?
He ain't
That'd
gotta have
be
no
very
problems over
that'd
there.
Might have to pay a little bit more, but anyway, on that word, we're out.
We have baked.